Hello and welcome to your Wednesday evening weirding session. I'm your host, C. Savory, creator of Fractal Praxis. These talks are going to get shorter. They're going to get riffier. Yeah, they're going to get more efficienter. They're going to get spiffier. Dashes, doses of the present current. My words are mere currency, and I just ride these waves, these currents, see. So these takes are just, consider them shot glass splashes, little doses, little dashes that etch out the outlines of things. I have so much to offer, and yet what I lack now is the luxury to be speaking into a void of sorts. Based on my weekly viewership numbers, that's a little bit what it feels like. Urgency and import for me not matching viewer attunement or attainment. And I love and mean no offense to my half a dozen weekly contemporaneous viewers. Please know I see and love you. Sans marketing team, you see, I don't really have the support that I need. I've been seeking it, been throwing out seeds, been cultivating kin, yet it hasn't quite gelled. The mix is still in the oven, blending, cooking. Results, I don't have them yet, just process. But I own a burden of purpose, and so I stretch across chasms. I do as much as I dare and can. I want my dear listeners to know that, and this is without any exaggeration, I am currently running 3 organizations. One is a small business, a for-profit company that I hope will pay my bills for the long term. The other is a nonprofit organization that is an important asset to preserve for community resiliency for the long term. And the third is Fractal Praxis. Interestingly, each one of these organizations is devoted to fostering systems transformations in their own way, in people's lives and in society. Fractal Praxis has been less a business and more a church, a compulsion, a calling, a service to my fellow beings sprung from the source of any blessed wisdom I've encountered and kept. It is sense made in an emergent way, that is, there's less a plan than an evolving sense of what is. And Fractal Praxis has many facets to it. Prismatically, I am expressing a profound core signal through multiple media and modalities of mine, some of which are growing organically, collectively, right now, faster than other aspects of it. I feel a new direction coming through me, a new aliveness for writing the first book. The first book is Fractal Praxis, the Manifesto, and it is a call to action and the philosophy underpinning Fractal Praxis, talking about our place in the fabric of all things, that we are exemplars and fractals of life. In a way, it's a grand unified theory of the universe and how we operate within it and shape it and how we make sense of things. And the sense making we do is actually pivotal to the lives that we lead and the conditions that we find ourselves in, and how to align ourselves with life's innate processes at multiple scales, and to therefore multiply the impact of life in the systems that we touch. We become agents spreading the good word of who and what we really are at our core, our true selves. Capital L life, signifying life in general, life as a pattern. Life is what makes life worth living. Life is the meaning of life. And I would love to speak on how we can amplify this life signal in everything we do, embracing our own aliveness, our intentions, our intuitions, our sense of meaning, and how to spread learning and wisdom in all systems through our very being, how benefits grow from this praxis. I want to tell you everything about this, if I have the bandwidth. Other aspects are organically arising right now through community interest and have a life of their own. right? Certain signals seem to be attracting a buzzing symphony like a beehive around them. In my world, the areas of greatest organic interest include events and facilitation, community ritual spaces, workshops, salons, deep dives, retreats, and membership groups. For instance, here's some news. Soon I plan to launch 2 monthly meetups. The first is a discussion group and salon where we will dive deep into the theory and practice and strategies of cooperativism, meaning how do we cooperate successfully? How do we actually practice cooperation and enact it? In a family, a group, a company, a neighborhood, a society even. My collaborator and I envision space to critically think and vulnerably reflect on our shortcomings when it comes to organizing adequately in response to the problems facing our communities and the role that cooperation can play in building a resilient fabric of community. Through face-to-face meetups and dialogues, we heal some of the damage imposed by our screen-based separation so-called social media has caused. This will be a nourishing space for the mind and for the heart as we connect in person with our bodies and our minds on these topics. And we will be collectively sourcing knowledge and the skills and methods necessary for more effective cooperation throughout our lives. The other monthly meetup is an embodiment and liberation-focused one, and I have a few thoughts that haven't quite cleared themselves up yet. Here's my primary thought, that we gather monthly for Theater of the Oppressed meetups. Theater of the Oppressed is a rich body of work that I first was exposed to and got involved with through a nonprofit social justice theater company in Hartford, Connecticut that was fully Theater of the Oppressed based when I was 16 years old. Theater of the Oppressed is a rich body of work, and what I love about it is that it's also very accessible. It's designed really for people who don't consider themselves actors, but yet who can benefit from even the simple embodiment games and methods like warm-up games and acting games, where the body begins to explore new ways of expressing and being, and new ways of processing information that equip a person to become more of an actor in their own lives, meaning someone who can enact their truth in their lives. It is a political art form. So I would love to start some Theater of the Oppressed meetups, which will just be a resource space for us to somatically move some of the charge in our bodies through games and through play and performance. I also would love to offer, small group meetup spaces that are like little tasters of Purge Church, where people can explore the somatic expression of rage and grief in a safe container and be witnessed by others. I also am interested in political burlesque, where sexuality and sexual expression get blended together with political statements and activism. So I'm kind of inviting these things in, and also people around me are inspiring and inviting these groups to organize themselves, to self-organize, if you will. So these are what is happening. These are the aliveness that's happening, and there is a location, a Fractal Praxis exclusive venue that these events will be happening at that you have to ask me to get more information about. I will not be sharing it publicly. All right, y'all. Here we are surfing the waves. And there really is no better metaphor. You surf the wave, or you get tumbled by the wave and go under. Right now, there isn't even just one wave. There's this Cthulhu-like unfurling tentacled beast thrashing its way through complex systems that we depend on for our lives, whether seen or unseen. And many of us right now are in perilous condition, experiencing great precarity. So let's disabuse ourselves of the kind of cognitive bias that says, oh, even if there's an emergency, I will probably be one of the survivors. Face your situation, friends. Take responsibility for everything you find there, and you better find a way to surf with me. That's what I promote. That's all I do always. Surf. Find ways to be with the movements of life through these systems and surf. Come along for the ride. Please, I don't want to see you die. I want to see you rise, to see you float above the noise and find out how to be signal, how to be truth, transmitting, signals pulsating through our networks, and in doing so articulating new worlds, defining our aliveness. We need you to expand our very universe. So please, we rise together or not at all. Come with me. May this be a turning point in my personal scarcity. May I receive all the resources I could possibly need right now and ongoingly for this work of ministry. I only wish to be in service, and for even more than a decade now, at my personal expense, I have been a minister about our solidarity in my own way. And I continue to evolve my ways of being of service, but what I cannot defer or defy is this purpose of service. I have strong perceptual abilities. I see threats that others don't. I also see opportunities and potentials that others don't. And my purpose is to steward them, to bring them into being through storytelling. And my friends, if you're swirling on these waves, I really hope that these words offer something of a rudder, guiding us toward how we rise on the surf like flotsam and jetsam, floating our way above the fray, and coming together into even stronger mycelial bonds through understanding that our life and death is of great consequence to all of us. It is not as meaningless as those illusory nihilists in power, those in power, would have us pressured to confess. The truth is something else. There is something more true and more alive underway and underfoot right now. So find your kin, tether us together into a living life raft, a web, forge and craft your surfboard. Come on in to reality. The water's fine. Let's make good on what is. Thank you for watching and witnessing this week's Wednesday evening weirding session. If you wish to support the work of Fractal Praxis, please make a donation using the link below. It is like I am passing the proverbial basket, and I would love to receive a tithe from you if this work is in support of you. So let's make good on what is. Thank you again for watching. Merry meet and merry part, and merry meet again.